My name is Bill Horton, if you don't know me, and I'm chairman of the Republican Party of Pickens County. We're delighted to have you here tonight because part of the change that we need to make in this country is going to start at the grassroots level. That means right here in Hinton, right down in Lugville, and up in Talking Rock, and over in Jasper. If we don't get it done, if we don't stand up, we're going to have the same thing we've had in Congress. We need to send people who will do our will and not the will of whoever the special interests are. So it starts here tonight. We want you to listen to these candidates because they have had the courage to step out and to offer themselves in their candidacy. And I think each of them will tell you they're going to listen to you if elected or re-elected in some cases. But it's important for you to know them, to listen to them, so that you, the voter, can make a good, accurate vote, and we can elect people who will represent us fairly and the way we want to be represented. I think we ought to start every meeting, I'm a firm believer in this, with prayer, pledge to our flag, because that's what made us a great country. And if we'll keep doing it, it's going to make us a great country again. Daniel Lopez. Daniel, would you mind offering prayer for us tonight?
I would. Let's pray. Father God, we just want to thank you for this great day you've given us. We want to thank you for all your many blessings, Lord. We thank you for the 4th of July, Lord, for the birthday of our country that you've given us. Lord, we thank you, Lord, for this country that you've given us to celebrate our freedom. Lord, we ask that you continue to be with us, be with our family, be with all the friends and family that are represented here tonight. Lord, we pray for the candidates there. Lord, we want to thank you for them setting across their lives to stay away a little bit from their family, Lord, to help better this community, better this county, and Lord, and to better this country. Lord, we ask that you lead and guide us and direct us, Lord, be with us in this meeting tonight, Lord, and again, Lord, we just ask you to be with us and all that we do. In your precious and wonderful name we pray. Amen.
Amen. You would stand, Kevin Wilkins will lead us in the pledge with the flag of the Capitol. Right there. Hold it up, Kevin. Allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Most of you probably were able to get a copy of the ground rules that we have. Each candidate is going to have 3 minutes to speak, to introduce themselves and to say anything about their candidacy that they would like for you to know. We will go in order, starting with the Sheriff's Office and working our way through the Chairman of Commissioners, Commission Post 1, Commission Post 2, if there's anybody here, though. Commission Post 2 is over in the far east and has very little relevance to this area. But then the Tax Commissioner, Coroner, Probate Judge, Chief Magistrate, Clerk of Superior Court, Board of Education Post 1, and Board of Education Post 4. If those candidates are here, they will be allowed 3 minutes to speak. After each candidate has spoken, we will take about a 10-minute break and we will collect any questions that you have. If you would like to pose a question to an individual candidate, there have been some sheets passed around by Mr. Tony, the former chairman of our party, illustrious chairman of our party. Thank you, sir. And he has passed those out. You can write down the question you'd like to pose to a candidate and put the candidate's name on the bottom. You do not have to put your name. Now, if you say something real nasty or something, we're not going to ask it, of course, but if you have a legitimate question, and last Monday night we did this and it went great. Everybody had some real good questions of the candidates. So if you have them during that 10-minute recess, pass those back in to me or to a gentleman who's going to be kind of conducting this for us, Mr. Jimmy Swain. And then they will have 3 minutes to answer it, and we will take 30 minutes to do that. In 30 minutes, if we haven't answered your question, then you're going to have to see the candidates individually after this is over with. Because we do want to keep it to a time slot, not let it go too long. And that way we encourage people to come back when we have these meetings together. All right. I talked with Sheriff Donnie Craig this afternoon. He sends his regards. He does not have any competition, and he had an opportunity to take his family to Florida before everything's transpired, and right now he's somewhere between here and Florida. So I told him that's great. I would pass along your salute to the group tonight, and so I guess that says enough about Don. If you don't have any competition, it says a lot about what you're doing. But at any rate, we'll start from there and go down to Chairman of Commissioners. I want to introduce to you the gentleman who's going to be conducting the meeting tonight. A gentleman a lot of you know, as long as you don't, a good friend of mine and a great Republican, Mr. Jimmy Swain. Jimmy, you want to take over?
Thank you. I'd like to say thank you to the people of Hinton for the use of the facility here. We have a crowd, and that's great. It is really great. It's full. Well, we'll get started. It's going to be kind of a long evening, I have a feeling. And yes, before Donnie went on vacation, and some of you will understand what I'm saying. Before Donnie went on vacation, I got a flak jacket from him. So, like I say, some of you understand what I'm saying. First of all, we have the chairman, the candidates for the chairman of commission. First, Rob Jones.
Well, thank you, Jimmy. And I want to thank the Hinton community and the GOP party for getting this set up for us tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, this will probably be one of the last ones we have. So this will be a good time to ask any questions that you've got. But anyway, let me give you a quick bio, if I may. I've been your commissioner for 8 years. It's been an honor to be sitting in that position. We've got a lot accomplished. My background, my family moved out of Tate, Georgia in 1955. We moved back in 1968. I did a lot of my schooling in Dunedin, Florida, where I was raised at. Finished up high school here in Pickens County. Graduated in '71. From that point, went into a family business. My wife, Diane Molnax Jones, I've been married for her for going on 42 years. I have a daughter, Sonia Lee Gossett, and Chad Jones, and I have 5 grandchildren. So I have been well blessed what the county has done for me over the years. I also come from family business. We had Molnax Trust. We sold the company in '95. From that point, I went into a private enterprise, which was Electrical Insulators at that time. We had six plants all over the United States. Traveled to one in Warren, Ohio, and Rockville, South Carolina. Head electrician there, did that and run it for about 7.5 years. And the maintenance program they had there. From there, I kind of wanted to slow down, went to work for Bird Electric. I worked for them for 4 years till I wound up with this position in 2004, elected in the spring of 2004. That being said, appreciate the ability to be your sole commissioner for the last 7.5 years. It has really been an honor to be sitting in this position, and we have got a lot accomplished. I'm just going to read you a quick summary of what we've got here, just some of the minor things or major things we've got, but I'm not going to take up a whole lot of time. We had the completion of new construction of the Pickens County Jail, which had started in '04, which is part of the '03 to '08 SPLOST project. We paid that project off in 2010. Purchased the old Mountainside Medical Hospital, which is old Pickens General Hospital. Relocated all the offices, all the administrative offices to that facility in 2008, which was part of the SPLOST project. And that building is now paid off. We have paved 67.4 miles of roads in Pickens County in the last 7 years. Rebuilt 3 bridges. Total water lines that we've installed is 281,280 feet of 6- and 8-inch water lines. We upgraded the 911 system, and I know most of y'all are still tied in with the code red. But one of the main things I'm really proud of is we established, as of 2.5 years ago, the first paid firefighters in Pickens County. That has really been an asset for the county and for the citizens, for the fact that we were now starting to drop some of the ISO ratings that we've been trying to work towards in Pickens County. Along with that, with 280,000 feet of water lines, it's helped having a fire hydrant every 1,000 feet on that. Of course, as most of y'all know, we relocated Station 11 over behind the airport. Bill, give me a countdown because I know I'm running close.
30 seconds.
And then we initiated a contract with the air ambulance system that is now located behind Station 11. We leased the property to them for $1 a year under the agreement that they would buy all their fuel from Pickens County. We have got an air ambulance sitting there 24/7. One thing that I wasn't sure of, and they based that helicopter here in Pickens County, which put another $1.2 million on the tax books. We built a volunteer fire station on Monument Road that we partnered with Dawson County, and along with that, we built a 80,000-gallon water resource tank to fight fires on the mountain because there's no running water at that time up there. But again, I want to thank y'all for being here tonight. I am running for the first chairman of Pickens County over the commissioners. It'd be a position that I'd be honored to be at, and I think it'd make an easy transition as we go into the multi-person board. Thank y'all very much. Thank y'all very much, and I really appreciate your support. Thank you.
Candidates, I'll be sitting here. Watch me. I'll give you a signal when you've got 1 minute left. We're going to stick to this 3-minute rule.
I'm glad you clarified that finger.
Our next candidate for chairman of the commissioners, Wesley Weaver.
I also want to thank Mr. Jimmy Swain, Mr. Bill Horton, and the Pickens County Republican Party. I also want to thank y'all for allowing me the opportunity to speak here tonight. My name is Wesley Weaver. I'm running for chairman of the commission. I went to University of Georgia. I graduated 4 years of college in 2 years, and I went to law school out in California. I graduated 3 years of law school in 2 years. 7 years of school work I accomplished in 5 years. I have the education to be the leader of Pickens County, the leader of the board, leader of the Conservative Party. Stop wasting money. That's what I'm standing for. Ending the spending. At the 4th of July, I saw shirts, green shirts being thrown out. It said Rob Jones. On the back of the t-shirts, it said values mean something. I have values. I would say I'm the candidate with honesty and integrity. The law says in Pickens County that the commissioner, chairman, is supposed to make $1,200 more than the highest paid elected official. The highest paid elected official since 2008 has been Donnie Craig, making around $70,000 a year. Mr. Jones should be making around $71,200. But for the past 4 years, he's been making $30,000 more than he's supposed to by law. I mean, that's breaking the law. The law also says he's the one responsible for writing the checks. So somebody's been writing the check. I promise values do mean something. And I promise I'm going to be paying myself $30,000 more per year than I'm supposed to make. He spent $17 million on the courthouse. Values mean something. He's remodeling the courthouse. He's torn down all but the front wall. The front wall of the courthouse no longer even has a door. He's walled it into a window. I don't know of any other county that just has a window where the front door used to be. He certainly was not preserving the history of the marble building. $2 million on 2 basketball courts for two basketball courts at the community center. Why not build a basketball court on each end of the county? He thinks the most important thing in the county is the ISO rating, lowering the insurance rates. The most important thing in Pickens County is jobs. We need to be spending money on laying water lines and paving roads to attract businesses here, not trying to lower certain people who lower their house insurance. That's not the most important priority of Pickens County. $20 million the previous commissioner had, it's gone for the 2003 squads. I don't know where it went. Maybe the $15 million spent on the county jail. EMS, 2 minutes. Takes 2 minutes because it's located at the airport. It takes 2 minutes longer for an ambulance to get to somebody who's in an emergency. $4 million at the airport can't be paid for. Vote Wesley Weaver.
Next, we have the commissioners or the candidates running for commissioner for District 1. And first will be Jerry Barnes.
Hello. My name's Jerry Barnes. I was born right across the road here and lived for 17 years of my life. I was born October 19th, 1951 to JB and Sue Barnes. I have 2 brothers, Jack, which he's in the crowd here, and John, and a sister, Linda, who lives in Warner Robins, Georgia. I went to work as soon as out of high school at Family Forest Products Business, which we run I run for 25 years. Started out as dragging logs, if anybody's ever done that, sawmilling years ago. I went to being the manager and co-owner of the company. After that, I went to work with Pickens County government. I was director of Parks and Recreations for about 15 months, trying to straighten out a mess that was made right before I got there that ended up in an indictment, I think, of the previous director. Went to work with Georgia Farm Bureau in 1989, which I just retired from about 4 weeks ago after 23 years. My wife, which you hadn't seen her at the meeting, somebody asked, "Where's your wife at?" So stand up. This is Marsha. We've been married 40, how many?
It will be 43 years, the 26th of this month.
And I'm the only one, I bet you in here, that's got 4 sister-in-laws right up here in the front row too. Stand up. That's the heart and soul right here. The whole bunch. But I'm just glad to be here. I've been really involved in this community. Since 1985, I've cooked barbecue. I don't reckon I've missed a year since then, which allowed us to help, along with selling tickets on the cars. We give away a car or 2, 3 or 4 cars. How many, Larry? 3. Larry Watson, one of the big backers of the car sales, he kept us going on it. But we were able to build this building right up here. Probably the biggest fire department in the county, I guess, physically, for not 1 cent of tax money. We raised every penny that went into that building right there, and a new rescue truck that we bought. Well, it's 2 years old now, but we paid for it with money we raised here. And I feel that's the kind of people you need in the county, doing the business of the county. You got to have somebody that knows how to get it done. And I'd appreciate your vote on July 31st. Thank you.
Next candidate for Commissioner District 1, Marty Callahan.
Thank y'all. I want to thank the Hinton community for having us out here tonight. I want to thank the Republican Party for hosting this event. We've had a lot of these events with Republican view candidates, and this is one of our last ones, and we're all tired, like you said. So we're pressing on, and we're going to have a good fight at the end, I can tell you. I want to thank all my friends and supporters that are here tonight, my family, my wife, and 2 daughters up back here, my mother-in-law's back there, my mom's popped in too. So my mother-in-law, Sarah Tillman back there, she's from this community. I think everybody knows her, and her family is very strong out here and has a lot of ties, just like Jerry's family does too. So the family is a very important issue. That's what this race is about. It's about morals. It's about doing things right. It's about doing what's right for the county. And the county consists of a map. You see Pickens County on our map. That's for we're representing half the county. I appreciate Jabbo being here tonight because he represents the other side. But we're out here for the whole county, not half the county. You're voting on me for half the county, but we're going to support the whole county. That's what this is all about. And that's the issue that I'm pushing. And the biggest thing we got to talk about is jobs. We got to work on jobs. We got to get with our chamber. We got to get with every one of these small farmers out here. Talk to everybody that's in a small business and find out what they need. We can't ask for a big 700 employee plant to come here. We don't have the structure. We don't have the water. We got to go to our small businesses. We got to go and grow people 1 person at a time. Not 10, not 50, 1. That's how we got to grow jobs. We don't have the structure set up here to do that. We need water, we need infrastructure. That's going to take some time. We don't want to raise our taxes to do that. That's my second issue, is taxes. Who got your tax bill? Who got your property tax assessment just a few weeks ago? It's too high. I'm not even going to ask the question. It's got to come down. If you think if you believe that, we've got to get together and solve that problem. We have a critical issue about our taxes, and they've got to come down. Government spending we're wasting it. We've got to get that under control. We've got to privatize any area we can do. But my third thing we've got to do is we've got to take this county and look at it and say, it's the best county we've got. It is the best county. We're proud of what we have. I used to live in Rome, and I drive back and forth from Jasper every day, and I get to the county line out here, and I go, wow, it's a beautiful place. We've got to remember that. We've got to keep what we've got. We've got to maintain what we've got. We've got to conserve what we've got. It's a beautiful community out here. Jerusalem, Hinton, Ludwell, all these areas are beautiful. We've got to maintain those. But we have got to take this county. It's sad that we've got 2 congressmen going to be elected from this county, 2 state representatives. We're split apart. They're taking us in Atlanta, in the Capitol, taking us apart and spreading us apart and spitting us out. That's pride. You need to take yourself and look in the mirror when you get up in the morning and say, you're from Pickens County and you're tired of that, and you're going to put your foot down and say, no more. We've been infighting between the city and the county for the last 25 years, and they look at us and they go, we have got to get that fixed. Like I said, the map, the whole county is it. I'm fired up and I'm kind of upset, but you've got to have some drive to do this. July 31st, vote for me. Monday, early voting starts. Thank you.
The next candidate for District 1 is Bart Conley.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Bart Conley. I want to thank the Pickens County GOP for having this event. I want to thank the community of Hinton for having this event. If you remember, several months ago they had an event here to discuss the map. If you haven't seen the map of how the county was split for the commissioners, I do have a copy here. I'm glad to look at it. The District 1 Commissioner's job is considered by law as a part-time position. Primary responsibilities are working on the policy and the budget of this county. That's a great responsibility for something considered part-time. I will be giving it a full-time effort. I live in the Jerusalem community. I live about 4 miles from here on Watson Lake Road. My wife and I moved up here 12 years ago from Cobb County. We've been married 38 years. We have 2 children, 3 grandchildren. I'm proud to say my son is in the Navy. He's been in the Navy for 15 years. He's married with 2 sons. And my daughter is married, has a son, and she lives and works over in Jasper. I've told everybody, they ask why I got into this campaigning. There's a picture of my grandson I carried all the time. What this position about is leaving things better for the next generation than what we have now. And I want to work for all the children and the grandchildren of this community, of this county, to make it a better place. As I said, my wife and I moved up here from Cobb County. At the time, she was the OR director at Montside Hospital. The old hospital, she was fortunate enough to be here when they remodeled, built a new hospital. She was director of the OR there. She's now a director of surgical services at another hospital. I have been active in the Pickens County GOP for the last several years. I've been fortunate enough to be elected to be a delegate to several district conventions, alternate delegate to state convention. I'm active in the men's club in my church. I go to Our Lady of the Mountains Church. I do a lot of work there with them. The good thing is that I got to retire a year ago from after working 11 years in Atlanta as a business representative. The greatest thing about my last day of work was when I drove home and I got to that sign that said Pickens County, because I knew I was home, did not have to go back into that mess they call Atlanta, into that traffic. That's the greatest thing about this county, is we're far enough away that we have our own identity. As a commissioner, I plan on working with the commissioner from the other district, the commission chairman. We need to have an attitude in this county that's going to be pro-business. We want to bring small business in here. Like Marty said, we don't need a large business coming in here with 700, 800 people. We don't have the infrastructure for it at this time. But the infrastructure is very important. It's something that needs to be continued to be worked on. Continue to work on the roads. Continue to work on lowering taxes. I want to thank you all for being here again. Bill said my time is up. I ask for your vote and your support. Early voting starts Monday and the election is July 31st. Thank you all very much.
next candidate, I'm not sure if he's here, Stephen Giambra, Stanley Morris. All right, we'll go right on to the next. We're fortunate to have with us Chavo Patterson from the East District. I know he's not running for District 1, but he's here, and I would like to recognize him for just a couple of minutes.
I won't take much time because, like you said, this is the vote of the West. But I think it's important that everybody knows who's running in the whole county, because any decision that the East District Commissioner makes or the West District Commissioner makes affects all of us. I'm a lifelong resident of the county. I had 33 years in the Postal Service before retirement. I served in 18 different management positions there. I appreciate any of your friends, neighbors within the East that you know. I appreciate your support and vote. I'll be glad to talk to any of them at any time. Thank you.
The Republican candidate for tax commissioner is David Leisner.
Thank you. I'd like to, as everyone else has and will, thank everyone for being here. I appreciate all the time. I'm running for the tax commissioner position in an effort to make things more effective in the future. Currently, we have outstanding taxes that go back to 1985. The amounts can be looked up on the Department of Revenue, where they will give you details of who owes what and for how long. This is crucial to the candidates who are going to be looking to bring jobs in and to streamline and make the government of Pickens County more effective. In order to pay for what our taxes buy, we need to make sure that the taxes are collected in a timely fashion, that there are no hiccups in the collection process, and that what we're doing in the government is making a positive impact on your lives. So for the tax commissioner position, you want to ensure that someone is there who is looking to, A, cut the size of government, because when the birthday tax goes away in January, you're going to have an entire area that does not have a monthly flow of people coming into it. You're going to have to look at that and say, what do we do with these people? What areas can they go to? What can we do to make it more better for the officials? So with that, I just want to thank all of you. I could go into my life history if you want to know where I've worked. I work in the private industry, and my background is in streamlining processes and making things work more effectively and at lower cost. Frankly, it works. So, all right, my 1 minute is up, but so is my speech.
Also running unopposed is our coroner, Kevin Roper.
I'm going to stay right here and just tell y'all how much I appreciate the support you give me in the past, and appreciate any support in the future. Thank y'all for running unopposed this time, and pity these poor souls that are opposed. I'm sitting right there and don't know what it's like, but I appreciate this good turnout. Appreciate the interest that people have in the community and the election process in Pickens County. It is very important that we become educated, knowledgeable, and what we're going to vote for on July 31st and the weeks prior to that. Thank y'all so much for being here.
We have two candidates for probate judge. And first is David Lindsay.
Thank you, Mr. Swain, and thanks to the Pickens County Republican Party for hosting this event. And big thanks to all you folks for coming out and taking time out of your schedules this evening to learn more about everybody who's running for office. It's an important thing to learn about, and we appreciate you being here. My name is David Lindsay, and I'm a candidate for Pickens County Probate Judge. A little bit about myself. I was born and raised in Pickens County in Jasper. I've been married for 13 years to my wife, Marie. We have two children, Carter, who is 10, and Sophie, who is 2. My parents, Tom and Susan Lindsay, are also natives of Pickens County.
Judge Rodney Gibson is retiring this year after serving outstandingly for over 30 years, and he has my thanks for that. And as he retires, I believe that my education and my experience in practicing probate law makes me the most qualified candidate to succeed there. I graduated at Pickens High in 1989. I had always wanted to go to law school, so I went to the University of Georgia, and I worked in the law library there for 7 years. I graduated in 1993 with an English degree, and in 1996 I graduated from the University of Georgia School of Law. During my time in Athens, I also worked at the Georgia Legal Aid Clinic, where we offered free legal services to indigent clients, and I completed a congressional internship in Washington, D.C. After graduating law school, I came back home to Pickens County, had the privilege of serving 2 years as the law clerk for the Appalachian Judicial Circuit under Judge William Weaver and Judge Bobby Ryan. Since that time, I've been in the private practice of law for 15 years, specializing in probate matters. I've served as the city attorney for LJ since 1999. I am the public defender for the Municipal Court of Jasper, and I have been appointed by the Pickens, Gilmer, and Cherokee County probate courts as the attorney to represent adults and minors in need of guardianship. Those various positions have taught me two really essential things for any judge, and those are a comprehensive knowledge of the law and the ability to understand the needs of people from all walks of life that come before the court. As a judge, you have to follow the law, you have to follow the Constitution, but you have to do so with common sense and with respect and with an understanding of those people that are standing there before you. Because of the number of matters handled by the probate court, because of the complexity of those issues, and because of just the volume of cases they hear each year, I believe the office deserves a full-time probate judge, and if elected, I will resign my current position. I will not maintain a law office, and I will serve as the probate judge full-time. Just like the current court, my door would always be open to the citizens of Pickens County. I will strive to ensure that the court operates as streamlined and as cost-effective and as efficiently as possible. Any folks that come into the court, I'll work to make sure that they understand the process that is happening, and we'll work to make sure that their case is handled efficiently. I urge you all to become informed voters, go out and talk to folks you know in the legal community regarding my qualifications and my fitness to serve as probate judge. Again, I thank you all for being here. I would humbly ask for your vote on the July 31st Republican primary. Thank you.
The next candidate for probate judge is Nancy Maddox.
Thank you, Jimmy. My name is Nancy Cochran Maddox, and can everybody hear me back there? Okay, great. I'm excited to be here tonight. I have been in your area for the last 2 weeks, canvassing and trying to meet as many people as possible. And I tell you, it's rewarding to see people out here that I've actually been to your house and shaken your hand. But that's what I'm all about. I was born and raised in Pickens County, out in Marble Hill, and my parents are Dan and Linda Cochran. And I'll tell you, if you ever want to know anything about your parents or your family, when you go up to somebody's door and they say, "Is your dad dangerous, Dan?" I guess so, sir. Yes, I think so. And then you get a really good story that you can use later on. But I graduated from Pickens High School in 1991. And after high school, I was fortunate enough to get a job at the local newspaper. And that was in the early 90s. And when I was out covering stories, particularly one in the West End, here in your area, touched me deeply. When the tornadoes came through and an entire family was essentially wiped out by that tragedy, I started asking myself, I need to write a story about this, I need to tell this story, but also what can I do to try to help the community? And so I did go on to the University of Georgia. I graduated with honors from Henry W. Grady School of Journalism, Mass Communication, and Newspaper Journalism. And then I moved on to UGA Law School. And I did graduate from UGA Law School in 1998. After that, I found myself up in LJ, Georgia. And when I was up there, I managed a law office since 2000. In 2006, it had become successful. We were doing well, and so I decided to buy that office. So since 2006, I've owned that office, And even though it's been challenging, someone mentioned streamlining and making things more efficient. I've learned the meaning of that over the years. But I've also had great opportunities to volunteer and also do a lot of free legal services for elderly people and children through the probate courts. And it's something that's very near and dear to my heart. And I'd love to be able to come back to Pickens County and become your full-time probate judge as well. I agree that that is definitely necessary here. And I'd like to try to help as many people as I possibly can. Give the handout and the hand up that so many people in this community have given to me through the years. But I would really appreciate your vote. My name again is Nancy Cochran Maddox. And tomorrow is my 16th wedding anniversary. My lovely husband has been coming with me to all of these events, and I really appreciate him. But I would appreciate your vote coming up July 9th, early voting. July 31st is the primary. Thank you so much.
We have 3 candidates for Chief Magistrate Judge. The first is Lysandra Cooley.
Hi, I'm Lysandra Ray Cooley, and I live just right up the road here off the 136 connector in the Lane community. I've lived in Pickens County most all my life. I've been married to my husband for almost 20 years now. Together we have 4 children. Larry Ray used to be our Chief Magistrate Judge for almost 20 years. He retired last year in April. He's my daddy. Learned an awful lot from my daddy throughout the years. I have an accounting diploma from the Pickens Technical College, an associate's degree from Reinhardt University. I graduated from April from Reinhardt with a bachelor's degree in organizational management and leadership. I'm enrolled to begin my master's degree this August, also at Reinhardt. I'm an active member of the Pickens County Chamber of Commerce, and I have a very extensive business background. I've worked as a cost accountant for Lexington Components in Jasper, office manager for R&R Towing, and as a subcarrier and a clerk for the United States Postal Service. And then we purchased R&R Towing in 2001. I probably know a lot of y'all from there. Then I became a licensed used car dealer, a licensed used parts dealer, and also a licensed real estate agent. And then in 2008, I began working full-time in the Magistrate Court as the Magistrate Court accountant. And then in September of 2009, I was appointed as a Magistrate Judge so I could help out with the issuance of arrest warrants and first appearances and other judicial functions. If you're not familiar with Magistrate Court, it's where you come in if you need to file a civil claim against someone for up to $15,000. It's also where you come if you need to seek an arrest warrant for someone or if you need help collecting on a bad check. With advanced technology, our court has really changed a lot, making filing more convenient than in years past. We now accept online civil filings, take credit cards, and issue our warrants electronically. Being a previous business owner, I know how receiving a bad check can be very frustrating. I also realize that it could have been just an honest oversight. I personally do my best to try to collect money for our merchants. Why am I running for Chief Magistrate? I'm a very big people's advocate. I believe that just because a person has made a bad decision does not necessarily make them a bad person. I want to ensure that everyone is treated equally and with dignity and respect, regardless of the situation. It does not matter who you are, who your parents are, or even who your attorney is. Everybody should get the same treatment. Magistrate Court is truly the people's court, and anyone having dealings there should be afforded the right to understand exactly what's going on in your situation every step of the way. My daddy always told me never to judge people too harshly because I too could be one bad decision away from standing in their shoes. Remember, I'm not in it for the bench, I'm not in it for the road, I'm 100% in it for the people. Lysandra Cooley, and I appreciate your vote this year. Thank you.
Next candidate, did not think he's here, Dale Quinton. Okay, Alan Wigging.
Thank you, Jimmy. My name is Alan Wigington, and since April of last year, I've been your Chief Magistrate. Since 2008, when I was appointed to the Magistrate Court, my job has been to make sure that you have fair, honest, and efficient access to your court system. The role of a judge is different today than it was many years ago, especially in small claims court. We have a lot of things that we do now that we didn't used to do. Your magistrate court is charged now with providing substantial justice using substantive law. And what that means is, and Dale Quinton's not here, so I'm going to steal his line, that sometimes common sense has to meet the law. But the important part is that the law has to be interpreted and used. It's not all just common sense. Magistrate court is a very important court. If you looked at the courthouse as a hospital, your magistrate court is the emergency room. When people are angry, they show up at magistrate court to seek arrest warrants. When they've been hurt, they show up in magistrate court for civil claims. When it's time for somebody not paying rent to be removed from their house, the landlord shows up in magistrate court. I'm convinced that if a sheriff's deputy rolled up on an alien spaceship that landed in the field over here behind the church and said, "Take me to your leader," he's going to say, "You need to go see Judge Wigington at magistrate court because they can help you with this problem." Because everybody walks in magistrate court. While I've been your chief magistrate, we've reduced your budget. We've taken the burden off you, the taxpayer, by more than 10% and reduced the number of people that we have working in our office. While we've done that, we've also taken the opportunity to increase our caseload and our revenue by more than 20%. We have taken on an additional criminal caseload. You're going to hear in Superior Court in a few minutes about backlog in cases. Magistrate court is designed to handle minor offenses quickly, and that's just what we're doing now. When I started in 2008, we handled 0 criminal cases. Last year, we handled 402 cases in the magistrate court that will never go to Superior Court. That money for fines and fees and revenue is coming back into your county. We've organized a mental health court for pretrial mental health patients who are committing criminal offenses, and we're supervising them, keeping them out of our jails. We have implemented online arrest warrants, and in fact, while I was sitting here, I was reviewing an arrest warrant for the City of Jasper Police Department on my iPhone, and as soon as I get outside and get a good signal, I'll video conference and issue that warrant. That officer doesn't have to come to me, and I don't have to go to them, and technology puts that warrant back in the hands of the officer immediately. We've also included online civil filing. When I first started, we were using typewriters and writing everything out by hand. Now you can file a civil suit against somebody from the comfort of your home, not even have to come to the courthouse. We're proud of what we've done in magistrate court. I ask for the opportunity to keep doing that for the next 4 years, and I ask for your prayers and your support. In closing, I am going to say one last thing. We're driving home this afternoon. I picked up my son. He's 6 years old, and I picked him up. And he said, "Dad, where are we going?" I said, "Well, you're going to Grandma's, and I'm going to a political event." He said, "Dad, when is July 32nd?
We have 3 candidates for Clerk of Superior Court. The first candidate, Gail Brown.
Thank you, Mr. Slade. And thank you everyone for being here. I'm Gail Brown, your Clerk of Superior Court. I have 18 years experience. I began working in the clerk's office in 1993. In 1999, I was promoted to Chief Deputy Clerk. In 2004, you gave me the honor and privilege of being the next Clerk of Superior Court, and again in 2008. I'm a member of the Bethesda Baptist Church, Pickens County Republican Party, and the Pickens County Chamber of Commerce. I'm married to Marvin Brown. I have 1 daughter and son-in-law, Angie and Bud Allen, and 3 beautiful grandchildren. Granddaughters. I have a Pickens High School diploma, a diploma in accounting from Appalachian Tech. I'm a certified clerk of court, for which I devoted 72 hours of my training. I feel like that you have an investment in my training. When I first took office in 2005, I hired and trained 3 new employees. They have now 8 years experience, and they're professionals in cross-training in other areas. We also have other employees that have 9 to 16 years experience. I also did not believe that I should just delegate and supervise work. I do a full-time job myself. The clerk's office is governed by Georgia law. There's legal requirements for every document that comes into our office, and we must know those requirements. We can't accept every document that comes in our office. We record all the property deeds for Pickens County. We manage the civil, criminal, and juvenile department. For jury management, we're responsible for mailing the jury summons and making sure we have enough jurors for each scheduled jury trial date. We impanel jurors and assist striking juries. We create court calendars for each non-jury day. We mail notices to the parties, and we prepare for all cases and assist the judges for the cases in every court session. The office is more complex and more highly technological than Pickens might be. We're required to transmit data and images every day. We are storing electronically filing child support, and next plan to file e-file UCC financial and statements. Real estate e-file is still at a testing phase and it's not available. The clerk's office has more duties than I could ever tell you in one day. The clerk of court is elected and accountable to you, citizens and taxpayers of Pickens County. For re-elect me, I will continue the smooth operation of your office, and I will continue to keep work up to date and work with other county offices. My staff's #1 goal is to provide citizens of Pickens County professional and friendly service. And I ask that you consider my qualifications, experience, and proven leadership, and re-elect me and get around your Clerk of Superior Court. Thank you.
Candidates, could you speak loudly, because we have a good crowd and your voice tends to get lost in the crowd. We want to hear everything you have to say.
The second candidate for Clerk of Superior Court, Kathy Bruce.
Good evening. Can you hear me back there? I'm Kathy Bruce, and I'm running for your Clerk of Superior Court. I was born and raised here in Pickens County. Grew up here in Hinton. My parents is Elaine Thomason and the late Sam Thomason. My mother's in the crowd, and I'd like for her to stand up. She still lives here in Hinton. She's going to get embarrassed by me. I'm married, and my husband and I have 2 children and 5 healthy grandchildren. In 1973, I began working at Pickens General Hospital, which is now Piedmont Hospital. I worked there approximately 15 years in administration. Part of that time, I was business office manager. I was responsible for all personnel records, personnel benefits, and payroll for the hospital and nursing home. After that, I started working at Century 21 in Holly, and there also, I was their office manager. One of the things that I had to do there was keep up their earnings and at the end of the year give them employees their 1099s. And then in 1997, I decided to go back to school to become a real estate appraiser. And that's what I am today. And I work at Payne Appraisal Services here in Jasper. I currently serve as the chairman of the board of Family and Children's Services here in Jasper. I'm a past member of the Pickens County Planning Commission. I'm a member of the Chamber of Commerce. I was a member of the first board of Planning Commission here in Jasper. I was on the Pickens County Board of Jury Commission, and I was an appointed member of the Pickens County Board of Electors, which I had to give up to really run for this position. I realized just how important this county, this office is, and how it needs to be run in an efficient and organized manner. I'm a hard worker. I work until the job is done. If you know me, I'm usually the one who gets to my office in the morning. I turn on the lights, and in the afternoons, I'm usually the one who turns off the lights. I plan to keep the office open till 6 o'clock one afternoon a week for the people who work who can't get there. I plan to improve on the accounting system, the record keeping in the office. I plan to make daily deposits of all funds, and I think there needs to be a balance system, a check and balance system, and not only one person do that. I would consider it an honor to serve you, citizens of Pickens County. Remember me, Kathy Bruce, July 31st. Thank you.
Unfortunately, Rena Kirk could not be here tonight. Her brother passed away and the funeral was this afternoon. Board of Education, Post 1, Nikki Carter.
Thank you all for being here this evening. I hope you can hear me. I'm about to commit what may be the equivalent of political suicide. We've heard a lot of people talk about a lot of accomplishments they've had in their lives, and I have too, but first thing I want to tell you what I'm not. See, there was a sweet lady, which I will not tell her name, that offered me a job selling insurance back in 1999. It was a 90-day trial period, and it was a disaster. It wasn't a disaster because I didn't have the tools necessary. It was a disaster because I'm not a salesman. I learned in 90 days that I could not, honestly could not, sell candy to hungry kindergartners. Absolutely could not. That failure put me back in the construction industry. If any of you have been in the construction industry any time at all, you know it's a hard place to make a living right now. Van Winkle and Company hired me as a construction manager back in 2002, and I haven't been out of work. Why? Because I'm good at managing our personnel, I'm good at managing our budget, and I'm good at managing our schedule. There's two major goals of the Pickens County Board of Education, and that's to set policy for the school system and to properly manage the budget. Those two things I can do. Thank God the Board of Education does not need salesmen, because I'm not one of them. But I would like to say there's a few issues, or one main issue, that really has bothered me and got me into this race. And then more recently, if you read the newspaper, you realize why. There was a decision made recently to save money to have students in Pickens County walk up to a half a mile and get on the school bus. This may work in urban areas where there's well lit and a lot of sidewalks, but we have long country roads out here, and they're dark, and they're rainy, and if anybody read the paper just a couple of weeks ago, there was a man at the duck pond in Jasper, who lured a young child of 12 to 13 years old over into the woods and molested him. If it can happen at the duck pond, folks, it can happen at the school bus stops. If you're interested in getting your kids' safety to be a top priority for the school board, please vote for me on July 31st. Thank you.
I do not believe Michael Coward is here. We'll go to Board of Education, Post 4, candidate Peggy Andrews.
Hi, I'm Peggy Andrews, and I'm a candidate for the Board of Education, Post 4. I live in Tate, Georgia. I've been resident there for 43 years. I've been married to Jerry Andrews for 48. We have one son and two grandsons. And they are in Pickens County schools. So, I'm a retired educator of 36 years, I believe, in Pickens County. And I have been blessed in my time during my career here in Pickens County because I have been able to work with students from all parts of the county, not just one area. And I see some of those students that are in the audience now. Kudos to you guys for being here and being interested enough in wanting to know what's going on in your campus. So I'm real proud of you. As I said, I'm a retired educator. I have been a teacher. I've been a media specialist, vice principal, a principal, and a curriculum director. It's important that we choose qualified people for the Board of Education because it is an important job. One of the, if you know, I know you know that the majority of your taxes go to the school board. And so you need people who are going to make informed, educated decisions and who are good stewards of money. We have a lot of challenges facing our school system right now. For the second year in a row, the state has cut its share of the funding for the K-12 cost by $1 billion. Since 2003, it's failed to fund $6.2 million of the shame. We're seeing instructional time cuts. We're seeing furloughs for teachers. We are seeing class sizes increasing, rising employer health care costs, and many other things that the school system has. This 2012-2013 school year will bring with it, another challenge. We are rolling out, the state is rolling out the new Common Core standards. That's a more rigorous curriculum than what we have had in the past. And with that more rigorous curriculum, we will have a more rigorous assessment. And with that assessment, if should we not meet the standards, we would have stiffer penalties. So we need to be sure that we're giving our teachers adequate and enough teacher training and staff development, and our students the tools and the necessary things that they need, instructional materials, in order to pass these standards. I believe in our community and our schools, and I believe that we have good administrators, and I believe that we have good teachers. I believe in teamwork and its essential components: trust, respect, shared values, knowledge, and everybody knowing his or her job. The challenge of the school board is great in these economic times, but I think it's a worthwhile challenge. I'm sorry, local school members should serve the children in the schools. That's their job. Okay, sorry, my time's up. Every child in this county is a reason for you to vote, okay? And I'm asking for your vote. I'm Peggy Andrews. I have the education, I have the experience, I have the background, and I have the passion. I want you to vote for me. I need your support. Thank you.
The other candidates for Board of Education, Post 4, Irvin Easterwood.
Most of you know that I've been on the board for many years, and lifelong resident here. Looking over the crowd, there's surely not many that don't know. But it is re-election time. I've been involved ever since my beginning on the board with facilities, trying to we get decent buildings built, safe for our children, safe in times of storms and different reasons. It's been paid for as cost dollars. We've worked hard at managing our budget. Budget is a very important thing in operating schools. We're getting less and less tax dollars from the government, more and more of your tax dollars. And I've tried to be a good steward of the tax dollars. But some of the things that are coming up, Ricky mentioned about the new core curriculum, it's going to be tough. I was sure on my part, our principals and our teachers, they have my support. But this is an important step to this area of Georgia, really. It's been spot tried and it seemed to be successful, but we're all going to bite on the outcome this year. But I'm not going to take a lot of your time, but I ask you from the bottom of my heart for your vote and support. And my pledge to you is to continue to do the job that I've done, and even better where I can. And that's my pledge to you.
We have two candidates for Superior Court Judge. The first of these is Roger Bradley.
Can I get a clarification to signal 30 seconds or 1 minute? Okay, thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Roger Bradley. I have been your Superior Court Judge. I'm in the last half of 12 years on the bench and would ask for your vote. If we follow true to form tonight, you are going to hear a very bold untruth, and you're going to hear also a profound tragedy. Beneath you, on your lap or somewhere, is one of the brochures of my opponent. Let's first talk about the bold untruth. You can go ahead and pick it up, look at it. I don't mind. It won't bite you unless you take the bait. Open it to the very first page, and you'll see my opponent's picture, and it says in a little block to the right, 2 years to get a child custody hearing. Who's looking out for those children in the meantime? That is the bold untruth. We have 3 judges, Judge Weaver here, me and Gilmer, Mercier and Fannin, and if somebody calls with an emergency hearing, we have that emergency hearing sometimes the very same day, sometimes the next day, or the following day, or the following day. Within 2 or 3 days, that is heard. When an attorney files a divorce petition that has custody involved, the attorneys also file a rule nisi that puts it on the next available hearing for whomever the judge is that it's assigned to. We have those hearing dates every month. Now, as to the bold untruth, the profound tragedy. The profound tragedy is this. My opponent has never been in my courtroom for anything. A custody case, criminal case, or anything. He has never been in Judge Weaver or Judge Mercier's case for a custody case. He knows absolutely nothing about them, except, and here's the tragedy, what has been handed to him and told to him by the special interest group that has brought him here, Fannin County, to run for a judge's position. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm terrified about the agenda of that special interest group. And if you bite the second-hand hearsay that he's getting and feeding to you, then you ought to be terrified about that special interest group's agenda also. And I tell you that they have imported him to run against me for this cause. If you check at his residences, the two in Fannin County, neither of them are habitable. I have pictures here that I'll show you if you wish to see them. His homestead exemption has been cobbed, his tags have been cobbed, and if you ask him tonight to look at his driver's license, it's either going to show a cobb address or it's going to show an issue date of his driver's license, 2012, a month and a half ago. He registered to vote in Fannin County only 2 days before qualifying. He's had no contact as far as a citizen of this circuit. And in that regard, I would ask that you pick up one of the brochures back there that I've got, because it has some bullet points comparing the two of us and shows more about where he has been, where he hasn't been, and what we have done in that regard. Again, on July the 31st, even starting July the 9th, I would very much ask for your vote. Let me continue to be your Superior Court judge and continue the work that we have been doing, and we thank you for the opportunity to be here.
The second candidate is Robert Sneed.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The only conspiracy that's here tonight is in that man's head. I'm running for this position to make you aware of the deplorable conditions on this man's court docket. It is absolutely unacceptable. It's taken 4 to 6 years to run an average case through this system, and I have talked to the people individually, and everything I mentioned in my literature is from people who have cases who are experiencing the problem currently. It does take up to 2 years to get custody cases heard in his court, and it's not on emergency hearings. It's on regular custody cases. My concern is, who's looking out for these kids in the meantime when they're sitting on this docket for 2 years? They're in these homes, subjected to harm, subjected to possible psychological damage. No one is looking out for them. Let's look at some numbers. Let's see if this is in his head also. Checked his dockets recently from Gilmer and from Pickens County. 101 cases on his Gilmer County calendar. That's not a lot of cases, 101. Total active cases, 38 on the calendar, 38 on the calendar out of 101 are over 3 years old or older. 1 case is from 02, 2 are from 03, 4 are from 04, 5 are from 06, 4 are from 07, 14 from 08, which is almost 40% of his current Gilmer County calendar. 15 of those 38 cases involve domestic issues, 10 involve children ranging from 06 to 09. Kids with 3 to 6 year old cases that has not been adjudicated. Let's look at the Pickens County calendar. Pickens County, 371 total cases, which 111, that's a third of the calendar, are over 2009 or older. That's 3 years old or older. 1 case is from 99, that's last century. 1 from 01, 3 from 02, 7 from 04, 22 from 05, 6 from 06, 12 from 07, 19 from 08, and 40 from 09. 36 of the 111 involve domestic issues. 23 of those involve children ranging from 1999 to 2009. That is deplorable. It is absolutely deplorable. And this man says in a forum that there is no backlog in civil cases. There is no conspiracy here. There is no special interest group. The only special interest group that I represent is those children that he's left in limbo for this extended amount of time that have not been able to get their voices heard. It's time for somebody to stand up for the kids. It's time for somebody to get these cases moved. If he can't do it, I'm telling you I can, and I need your vote on July 31st so we can clean up this mess.
We have 3 candidates for district attorney. The first candidate, Harry Dawes.
Mr. Moderator, I would like to take this opportunity to thank the members of the Pickens County Republican Party for hosting this forum. My name is Harry Dawes, and I'm a candidate for the office of District Attorney of the Appalachian Judicial Circuit, which is comprised of Fannin, Gilmer, and Pickens counties. I have practiced law in Blue Ridge for 39 years. I have been an active member of the Fannin County Republican Party for 34 years, mainly as a foot soldier, but I've also been a delegate to the district convention 25 times and the state convention 25 times, and was elected as the district chairman in 1989 and 90 of the convention, those parties. But the greatest privilege I've had was to serve in the United States Army for 31 years. I was commissioned a second lieutenant and reached full colonel. I was on active duty at the time of the invasion of Kuwait by Iraq. For the next 5 years, I was primarily in Saudi Arabia, some in Kuwait, some in Jordan, extensively in Egypt, and before that I had been numerous times to Mogadishu, Somalia. Now, I am seeking the office of District Attorney due to the fact that this office is in terrible condition. There are somewhere between 2,000 and 3,000 active criminal cases in our circuit between the three counties. Yet, in 7.5 years in office, this district attorney has managed to try less than 5 cases. 7.5 years, he's tried less than 5 cases. You can do the math. The attorney staff in the district attorney's office is 9 assistant district attorneys and 1 district attorney, 10. In 7.5 years, these attorneys have managed to try less than 99 cases. Again, you can do the math. In our counties, many individuals languish in jail, waiting for the disposition of their criminal cases. There are approximately 100 people in jail, thank you, Bill, people in jail in Gilmer County at a cost of about $42 a day. In Fannin, at this moment, there are 56 people in jail at a cost of $35 a day. The maintenance of persons in our local jails is an enormous expense to the taxpayers and to the individuals. The cost in lives and the cost to the taxpayers does not seem to be of any particular concern to this district attorney. I have tried cases, I know how to try cases, and I'm not afraid to try cases. Ladies and gentlemen, there is no substitute for experience. I will not waste your tax dollars, and I will not play games with people's lives. I have the ability to serve as your district attorney, and I'm asking for your vote on 31 July. But I'm also going to ask you one other thing. An informed citizenry is vital to our country. Probably, 5 seconds. We would not be in this problem today, I think, with our nation had the citizens been better informed. I would urge you to go to Fetch Your News and watch the form in Fannin County that's on there and ask for the DA's form. You might be informed more.
Thank you, Harry.
Thank you.
The next candidate is Joe Hendricks.
Good evening. My name is Joe Hendricks, and I've been your district attorney for the past 8 years. I have been married, as of last week, I've been married 19 years to Kay, who, with great courage and grace, was able to give my presentation for me when I was in another forum last week. And we have one son who's, as of yesterday, is 11 years old. And like Alan's kids, he's wondering when July 32nd is coming around. We are members of Mount Hope Community Church, which is just a few miles down the road across from Hill City Elementary School, where I serve as a deacon and Sunday school teacher. My wife serves as a Sunday school teacher and does so much with the children's program there. She teaches at Jasper Elementary School, where my son has been, who's now going to go to Jasper Middle School. In 2004, I ran for district attorney. Well, Prior to that, in '95, I graduated from law school at Georgia State University and was hired by Roger Queen as an assistant DA, and I served in that capacity for 3 years. I ran in 2004 upon Roger's retirement because I could tell that we had a severe methamphetamine problem in this community. It was tearing our community apart. Working together with your sheriffs, working with the Drug Task Force and reorganizing the Drug Task Force, we've been able to do something about that. And as a result, we live in a safer place. Now, drug use hasn't gone away. It's still here. And especially, y'all seen what we've done with synthetic marijuana, but the issue is we've improved things. I said I would fight for children, especially those who've been sexually molested, and that's what we've done. And we've taken on cases, even when they're tough cases, and we've prosecuted those, and we've stood up for children. And I want to tell you how much that's what my office are going to continue to do if you re-elect me. We said we'd stand up. I said I would stand up and prosecute DUIs. We would take on the defense lawyers who represented DUI defendants, and that's what we've done. We said we wouldn't reduce or dismiss a DUI unless there was a legal reason to do so. And as a result, Mothers Against Drunk Driving awarded me their award for Judicial Enforcement Partnership for Aggressive DUI Enforcement. We've improved the office with technology. We implemented the first statewide web-based case management system in order to improve the office efficiency. We've also engaged in a technology project that links the sheriff's office to the DA's office, to the magistrate court, to the clerk's office, in order to save you money. And we are on the very last part of that project, and it will be implemented within the next few months. I'm running for district attorney. You've heard a lot about backlog. These are the cases that have been pending in the DA's office. Over the last few years, we've brought them down dramatically because of the hard work of not only everybody in the court system, but the assistant DAs who fight for you every day. My chief assistant district attorney is the assistant district attorney of the year for the state of Georgia. The senior assistant district attorney in charge of the Pickens office is the drug prosecutor who is in charge, who has been teaching drug prosecution to the assistant district attorneys across the state. We fight for you every day. We will continue to fight for you to help protect this community and keep it safe. And that's why I ask for your vote on July 31st. Thank you.
The third candidate for district attorney is Allison Souza.
Bill, throw a shoe at me if you need me to stop. My name is Allison Sosby, and I am a candidate for district attorney for the Appalachian Judicial Circuit, and it is a three-county race, spanning Gilbert and Pickens. I am born, raised, and educated in North Georgia. I went to the University of Georgia for my undergraduate degree. I graduated in 3 years with honors. During that time period, I served then Senator and current Speaker of the House, David Ralston, as legislative lead. After graduating from the University of Georgia with my undergraduate, I attended there for law school as well. Upon graduating from law school, I came back here to this area, to home, and I was the law clerk under Chief Judge Brenda Weaver and Judge Bradley. After that, I went into private practice, and I have been in private practice for over 10 years. I am a litigation firm. I go to court, and I fight for my clients, and that is what I am asking for the opportunity to do for you here. People ask me, well, why are you running for district attorney? I'll tell you, I'm running for district attorney because we need a change. Bill Horton said at the beginning of this, well, Donnie Craig's done a great job, and I guess it shows because he doesn't have a lot of competition. Well, I'll tell you something, that applies in this race. The current district attorney has competition because we need a change. One change that needs to happen is cases do not need to be overcharged and over-indicted. The backlog, the chart that he just showed you, if you'll notice, he's been in office for 7.5 years. The peak of that backlog is 2008. That is during the time he was in office. I would challenge you to go to the courthouse, to talk to the people who know what the district attorney's office does and find out why those cases are being dismissed. It's not because they're being tried. They're being dismissed. That's where the backlog is going. And I would ask you the question, why are the cases being brought to begin with? if they're ultimately going to be dismissed after they sit on the calendar for 3, 4, 5, 6 years. That is creating a backlog. That is causing problems. The other thing I'll do is I will work with the Superior Court judges. I will ensure that my staff are ready to try cases on criminal non-jury days, on jury trials. You know, there's an old adage that justice delayed is justice denied. And what is happening in this circuit is that the victims of crime are having to wait years for restitution. That is not justice. Most people don't deal with the district attorney's office unless you're a victim, a defendant, been on grand jury and trial jury. I would challenge you to go talk to the people who work with the district attorney's office, go talk to law enforcement, and find out what they have to say. I have an overwhelming amount of support with law enforcement that is not currently backing the existing district attorney, and that speaks volumes about why we need to change. I would ask for your vote. I would ask for your support on July 31st. Thank you very much.
At this time, we're going to take a 10-minute recess. Make sure you fill out if you have questions and give them to Bill. And after the recess, we will go over some of the questions.
Candidates, you've done a great job constructing the questions. However, in a matter of time, we only have 30 minutes. We're going to limit each candidate to one question. And that question we selected because it was asked by more than one person, or they overlap. Each candidate will have 3 minutes to answer the question. Then we will end this at the end of 30 minutes to give you time to get home and open all the windows and air your house out too. Jimmy?
Y'all would take your seats. We'll begin. The first question is for Commissioner Jones. And as I said the other night, keep in mind, I'm only the messenger here.
I'm real close.
Can you explain the $18 million debt?
I can't explain the $18 million debt. First, you got to remember know the difference between the enterprise fund and regular assessed liabilities. On the page number 28 that was issued out here a few weeks ago, that my opponent handed around, he failed to hand out page number 5. Page number 5 of that 2010 audit shows asset liabilities of $2.26 million. That is long-term debt that's being paid out of the general fund of the taxpayers, of you people. Take that 2.26, subtract it from the 18 million, leaves approximately $15–16 million. Back in 1998, of those funds goes back to GOP monies. They were established back in 1998 for running water lines. They were established in 2002, 2003. There was one in 2006. The majority of that money is GOP funds. What GOP funds are monies that were loaned and borrowed from to build water lines. What that does is GOP will not loan you the money unless you have a way to pay it back. So what they will loan you money on water lines. Say we build a water line in Marble Hill. It's not fair for the people in Ludwell to pay for that water line. So that water line is paid back through the water bill. Now you'd also see on that is $6 million worth of bonds, airport bonds. As you know, I inherited the airport in 2004 when those bonds were issued. I come on board in 2005. Those $3 million of those airport bonds were paid off last year by means of selling one of the developers at that time, the outside parcel, which was about 44 acres. That came up to $3 million. That cleared out $3 million of that $6 million bond. The rest of that $3 million bond is to be cleared out in 2 ways. Now that the project is done, that project will be assessed by an FAA property assessment administrator. Those funds will be asked, the FAA will then be asked to pay the county back for whatever those asset values are for that particular property. If there's still some deviation on that or lack of funds to pay for that, then of course the rest of that money will be paid back through the leased property on these 17 acres. That will be leased back to private individuals to pay that fund back. So an enterprise fund
is monies that are paid back without using taxpayer dollars. The long-term debt, the asset liability goes paid back to the general fund.
Thank you. Wesley? We have heard all of your questions on Commissioner Jones' leadership. What do you plan to do for Pickens County if you were elected?
I think the #1 priority for Pickens County is jobs. The current commissioner is anti-growth. The only growth that's happened in Pickens County in the last 8 years has been along Highway 515. Mr. Jones cannot take credit for that. That's due to the City of Jasper administration. I want to pave roads and effectively use the county's water lines, build the infrastructure to attract outside business to invest here. We need outside job investment to attract new jobs. New jobs is what the county needs. Jobs are the most important thing in Pickens County. What I want to see is every kid who graduates Pickens High School have the option. If they want to come back here, there should be a job waiting for them when they come back here. We don't need to be anti-growth. We don't need to be pro-growth. We just need to be prepared in the hopes of the potential that jobs will locate here. The way to do that is go out and seek businesses to come here. Large, small, whatever it takes. Bring businesses here. If I've got time left over, which I think I do, it's not hard. We got to pave the roads, effectively use the water. That's what jobs want. 2004, when Mr. Jones came in office, the debt was $8 million. Now, 2010, $18 million. It's probably even more. I don't know. Nobody knows. I don't know if Mr. Jones even knows. The audit for the 2011 budget hadn't been done. It hadn't been done because the numbers weren't turned in on time. He's just now hired a new accounting firm. What was wrong with the last accounting firm? The last accounting firm, you can see, at the start of this year, January 20th, he took out a tax anticipated note in the amount of $6 million. He put out bids for that. He got bids from Jasper Banking Company, United Banking Company here in Jasper, the Royal Bank of Canada, and Wells Fargo. You always hear bank local. Ask Mr. Jones why he accepted the bid from Wells Fargo. Why not Jasper Banking Company? Why not United Community Bank? There goes the idea of bank local. Wells Fargo, I don't know of one here in Pickens County. Thanks. Vote Wesley Weaver, please. Experience. Thanks.
Jerry Barnes. What could be put in place in order for the commission board to see income and expenses on a monthly basis? If this is already in place, please explain.
I don't know if there's anything as far as that now, but if I do become a commissioner, I hope to have that set up where all this speculation of different things that's went on, different areas, where we'd know, say January the 1st through January the 31st, if by the March meeting, we should know what went on during that. We should have paperwork. With the computers and all that we've got now, there should be no reason why we don't know what's going on in 1 month and the next, all the way through.
Marty Callahan. Taxes are too high, especially school taxes on seniors. We need a break. Could we pay a percentage or reduced in this, in the beginning? Who needs to put on the ballot to get this voted on?
My wife is a teacher, my mom was a teacher. All of us are at some point in time been educated. Gilbert County did this senior tax credit 4 years ago. Look at them now. Look at that. Close the school. They're talking about closing another one. They put the law in about senior tax credit to reduce the senior taxes. My mom wants to pay less taxes. I want to pay less taxes. Everybody here wants to pay less taxes. It's a school issue. It's not a county commissioner issue. It's a school board issue for the school tax to be reduced. We have it now for $25,000 up to age 65. Maybe moving it up gradually, 34, 35,000, 50,000, some numbers that we can gradually grow into, possibly over a 3 to 5 year term, possibly. But right now we cannot bear that with the cuts that the school system right now is talking about taking. I'm sorry. I got too much heart with my kids. The taxes, yes, have to come down. The school board, the school tax, that's the problem with the school system. But what they did in Gilmer County, if you haven't researched it, everybody that had a property that's say 46 years old, like myself, put it in their parents' name. And then when they did that, everybody's property taxes were exempt. And the school system went $50, $60 million in debt. Do we want that? Do you want that? Ask yourself that. We all, the school system is a big employer of our county, and it's a huge asset. The quality of life. The quality of life that we have. And don't forget it.
Gil Brown. Comment on the condition of the county audit report.
It was considered minor. We have one girl that, we have one young lady that enters all the checks, not all of them. I think I failed to tell the auditors that the criminal clerks also enter all their checks to disperse that money. When we enter on the computer, they're dispersed. And it was just a segregation of duties. The person that, one person that was entering checks was also making deposits. And she should not, they said, they both, she should enter the checks and then hand the money over to someone else to make sure it balances and make the deposit. She shouldn't make deposits. And I think that was the only problem except for the bond account. And I was glad that the auditors came to my office this time so I could explain to them why I couldn't balance the bond account because it has money in it all the way back to when Philip McIntyre was clerk in the 60s. And there's just no record. And then they asked me to balance mine for 2005 and I told them I could do that. And then I immediately put it to a place where we can do the segregation of duties. I thought we had a good segregation of duties, but we needed just one more, so I could put that in place immediately. So and we have. So we corrected that. It was just a minor topic.
Judge Bradley. How long have you lived in this district?
My family and I moved to Georgia from Tennessee in 1965. We lived in Woodstock. We lived there for 9 years. I was teaching school in Tennessee before I moved to Woodstock. I went to law school while we were living in Woodstock, and we moved to Gilmer County in 1974. So I've lived in this district about 36 years. As soon as we moved up in 1974, we immediately became integrated in the community. My children went to school in Gilmer County. My wife worked in real estate in Gilmer and Fannin and some in Pickens County. Both of my children are doctors. My daughter's an optometrist in LJ. My son is an anesthesiologist. He's got a little bit of California in him. He graduated from medical school and anesthesia school in California, and he's out close to where he graduated. My wife's parents were both from Gilmer County. Her grandparents on both sides of the house were from Gilmer County. So also were her grandparents. My grandson Isaac has a 6th generation contact with Gilmer County, and Granddaddy Baker was a Baptist preacher and a carpenter for all of his life, lived to be 99 years and 9 days old in Gilmer County. If he'd lived one more day, he would have had a full century on his tombstone. We've been an integral part of the community. We have not just been transplanted from somewhere else for the purpose of running. We've served the community well, practiced 26 years of law, and I was always in trials in court every time. I did not do any collection law work, as my opponent does. because I felt that the community deserved something different. I do criminal jury trials for murders, kidnappings, child molestation, and all of the other things, where my opponent has been a traffic court judge, which is speeding, DUIs, such things as that. Misdemeanors, no jury. He was a little perturbed about the fact that I mentioned a greet 'em and plead 'em type court.
Excuse me, but you answered my question. You answered my question.
Okay. I still have some more time. Can I save it for next time?
Yeah, just address the question you were asking.
Robert Steve. What is the reference to you living in Cobb County?
I've been a practicing attorney for 25 years. For 20 of those years, I have sat on the benches of municipal court judge, and I currently sit for 17 separate jurisdictions. Those jurisdictions include Blue Ridge, LJ, and East LJ. All my courts are up in the north. I've owned property up in Blue Ridge for the past 7 and 8 years, 2 pieces of property respectively, and recently I built a house up there, and I have moved to Blue Ridge. I do not own a house in Cobb County, and my tags on my vehicle do not need to be renewed until my birthday, which is in March, to put the tags on the vehicles up in Fannin County, as well as the homestead exemption is not eligible to be placed on the house until January 1st of the year in Fannin County. So this reference to Cobb County is just more rhetoric to really cloud the issues that's in this case. I live in Blue Ridge. I live in Fannin County. Been up there for years. Just made it official recently because the house.
Thank you. I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. I want to thank particularly the community of Hinton for hosting the GOP forum. Thank the candidates. We really appreciate it. Thank you for your service.